You there, listener. Take heed and like this video should you face the wrath of Lin Moyu in disgrace towards the human race. Mwahahaha. The Suzaku 98 galaxy has returned to calm, all defense measures have been lifted, and there is no difference from normal. The sudden war ended very quickly. Even ordinary people don't feel much. This small-scale war has already completed the whole process from the beginning to the end. Lin Moyu returned to galaxy number 98, and watched the God King class warship go away and disappear. He knew that there should actually be many soldiers in the God King class battleship. It's just that he and these soldiers are in different spaces and will not meet each other. Among the human race, levels are also strictly prohibited. Soldiers have their own world, which is different from ordinary people. Even if you have obtained military merit and promoted your rank, as long as you haven't joined the army for one day, you are still not considered a soldier. Lin Moyu understands military merits as military coins, and can use military merits to buy things that cannot be bought with points. The military rank is equivalent to the level authority, and the items that can be purchased are different with different military ranks. But no matter how high your military rank is and how much military merit you have, as long as you haven't joined the army or become a member of the military, your military rank will have no effect. Even if you become a general, as long as you have not joined the army, it is impossible to order a soldier to do things. This is fundamentally different from Small World. Once the Small World becomes a God General, it is the God General's order that cannot be violated. Relatively speaking, because the world is more strict. Completely separate the army. As far as Lin Moyu knows, there are two sides in the human race, the army and the Temple of War. For example, Zhu Tianyu represents the army, and they control the world in which the human race usually lives. And Luo Changkun's Temple of War is more like a religion, representing the spiritual beliefs of the human race. They are high above, mysterious and elusive. The picture in front of me gradually dimmed, and light replaced darkness. Lin Moyu passed through the dark starry sky and entered the bright stars. There is a familiar picture in front of me. Da 98-1 is still full of people coming and going. There is a clear separation between the living area of ordinary people and the area of cultivators, but they are also integrated with each other. There are also many practitioners who will enter the living areas of ordinary people to relax. Enjoy some good food. Among ordinary people, there are also people who will go to the world of practitioners, get in touch with practitioners, and participate in work. The world is beautiful and full of peace. But Lin Moyu knew that countless human warriors were outside, throwing their heads and blood for this peace. Countless sages paid the price of blood for this peace. Lin Moyu came out of a small world and experienced wind and rain rather than a hotbed. His feelings are different from those of many people in the big world. Brother Lin, you are back. A loud voice rang in my ears. Lin Moyu saw Ren Qiang, who had been waiting in front of the guest center. He didn't send a message to himself, probably because he was afraid it would affect him. However, from Ren Qiang's behavior, Lin Moyu still felt a little warmth. This is a good friend. Lin Moyu doesn't have many friends, especially after entering the big world. Apart from Gu Qingxuan, it seems that there is only this bastard in front of him. Ren stared at Lin Moyu up and down. It's okay, there are no missing arms or legs. Lin Moyu couldn't help laughing. What's wrong with missing arms and legs? It's not impossible to cure. That's different. The back looks the same as what I was born with, so can it be the same? Ren Qiang shouted with an exaggerated expression. Lin Moyu asked, are you waiting for me here? Ren Qiang shouted, otherwise. You have already gone to the front line. I am afraid that you will not come back, so I will wait for you for a few days. How did you know I was going to the front? I'm not a fool, how could I not guess such a simple thing? Okay, you're not stupid. That is, what are you going to do next? Lin Moyu thought for a while. I'm going to practice, the task is too fast. If I continue to do it, I will be promoted to level 4 authority. According to Zhu Tian's words, the authority should not be raised too quickly. After reaching the true God realm, the authority will be raised to the 4th level. Lin Moyu really made sense when he thought about it, and he was a little anxious. But time waits for no one, and improving strength cannot be accomplished overnight. Like strange stars, they are not everywhere. The closest one is also in the White Tiger star field. I don't know how many light years away from here. He is not qualified to go there now. Ren Qiang rolled his eyes. You want to practice? When Renwang's network is opened, you can go to Renwang's practice field. Lin Moyu shook his head. I don't need to go to the human emperor's training ground. There is no law I want there. Ren Qiang was slightly taken aback. Is your law so biased? That's okay. I'll take you to a good place. Where? Time house. The time room. What's that place? Walk, walk, let's talk as we walk. After Ren Qiang's explanation, Lin Moyu knew the function of the time room. Roughly speaking, the time room is similar to the emperor's training field, both of which can speed up the flow of time. After practicing for 10 days in the time room of the supernatural realm, only 1 day has passed in the real world. But it doesn't have a sea of laws, and it can't comprehend the laws through the stars of the laws. Similarly, the fee is 10 times cheaper than that of Renwang training field. The 10 times flow rate room in the super god realm only needs 100 points per day. Because there is no way to comprehend the laws, many people would rather choose the sea of laws, which is 10 times more expensive, than go to the time room. The help of sea of laws to comprehend the laws cannot be made up for by 10 times the price difference. But Lin Moyu is different. Lin Moyu doesn't need to comprehend the law of the stars at all, and the law of the sea has no effect on him. In this way, the time house, which is 10 times cheaper, becomes more suitable for Lin Moyu. Ren Qiang said as he walked, I didn't expect that the laws you comprehended, Brother Lin, would be so biased. It is said that the sea of laws already contains most of the laws of heaven and earth. Speaking of this, Ren Qiang suddenly paused, and stood on the spot like an electric shock. His voice became stammered. Brother Lin, the laws you control are not those powerful laws of the second echelon. Only those laws of the second echelon are difficult to find corresponding stars in the sea of laws. Well, many second echelon laws can only be found in the sea of laws of the central god city. Lin Moyu shook his head. No. Ren Qiang snorted. If it's not the second echelon, then it's too partial. Lin Moyu stretched out a finger. It's the first echelon. Boom. Ren Qiang fell to the ground, throwing his body to the ground. Brother Lin, I'm convinced. Do you know that people can scare people to death? Lin Moyu pulled him up. Whoever scares you, isn't it the first echelon? It's nothing. Lin Moyu doesn't want to hide it. He can't hide the fact that he controls the first law. He has already shown a high profile and will soon be known by others. Especially his performance on the battlefield is seen by countless demons. It is estimated that some of his information has been passed on to the foreign tribe. Ren Qiang let out a strange cry, and quickly lowered his voice. You can't say that. Whoever said that the first echelon is nothing, you can make people die by saying that. Ren Qiang lowered his voice, but his expression was extremely exaggerated. The completely different performance made Lin Moyu feel amused. In short, the first echelon law, in the eyes of Ren Qiang, is an invincible existence. This guy also talked about his future goals, but he only comprehended the laws of the second echelon. As for the laws of the first echelon, he never thought about it. It is estimated that most practitioners have the same thoughts as him. The law of the first echelon is just a dream, and the second echelon is the real hope that can be seen and touched. There are only so many people who can enter the city of God. But in the sea of laws of Shencheng, you can see the laws of the first echelon. There are a few who can comprehend the law of the first echelon by themselves like Lin Moyu. After chatting, the two came to the teleportation array. Turn on the teleportation array, target the Zhu 90 galaxy. The distance is exactly 20 light-years, which happens to be the furthest place Ren Qiang can go. Ren Qiang explained, not every galaxy has a time room. Generally speaking, a batch of time rooms will be arranged for every 20 galaxies. The closest time room we have here is in Galaxy 90. Lin Moyu nodded. The time room is not in the Renwang network, but in the real world. Being able to change the time, it is estimated that it is not easy to arrange. So the number will not be too many. The time house is not on the living star. The human race created a small star for it alone. Outside the living star 98-1, there is a satellite revolving around it. Looking from the 98-1 star, it looks like a moon. On the top, there is a huge area, which is shrouded in a huge formation. Among them, according to different formation nodes, there are a total of 1,000 quaint stone houses located on the formation. Seen from the starry sky, the entire formation is magnificent and solemn, exuding a vast atmosphere. I don't know how many years this formation has been in operation. Lin Moyu can feel the taste of time from it. Ren Qiang sighed. I came here once with the elders of my family, and I was shocked the first time I came. I feel that this formation is too old, too old. Those stone houses are each older than my family, and I don't know how many thousands of years they have existed. The person who arranged this formation back then was really terrifyingly strong. It is indeed very strong. How can the formation that can change the speed of time not be strong? Thousands of stone houses, each of which is located on the node of the formation. You can enjoy 1 ACDB, 0 times the time flow rate in the stone house. 1 day passed in reality, but 10 days passed in the stone house. This saves 10 times the time. In the medium galaxy, there is also a time room in the realm of the true gods. The time flow rate can reach 20 times, but the fee is much more expensive. You can try it in the future. Lin Moyu said, I may stay here for a while. Brother Ren can go and do some tasks first, and then contact Brother Ren when I come out. Ren Qiang hummed, okay, then I will go to the task first. Thank you, Brother Ren. Thank you, there is nothing to thank for such a small matter. You are too out of touch like this. If you have anything, just contact me. I can't help you. I still know a little about the big world. Ren Qiang waved his hands grinningly, turned and left. He also has to go on a mission. This time, the devil suddenly invaded and broke the hotbed of super gods. Originally thought that the super god realm did not need to enter the battlefield, the real battlefield was far away from them. Even in the real god realm, if you just do the mission with peace of mind, you don't need to face the dangerous battlefield. But the reality is not like this. When the war really comes, no one can escape. When foreigners invade the territory, even super gods like them, who are not even as good as cannon fodder, will go up and fight. If they are not enough, even those who are regarded as ordinary people who are half-step super gods need to go to the battlefield. In an avalanche, no snowflake is innocent. Although Renwang's network has not been restored, many people have already received the information. The super gods began to practice with all their strength and worked hard to do various tasks. Only when the strength is strong can we survive in the big world. A sense of crisis arises spontaneously. The atmosphere seemed to suddenly become tense. Lin Moyu feels very good about this. He always has a sense of urgency, but the human race in the big world does not seem to be much more relaxed like him. This time, it happened to make them feel the pressure. Lin Moyu flew into the formation, as if entering another world. The moment he entered the formation, Lin Moyu felt that the whole world slowed down. Positive and negative yin and yang. Read it softly, as if you have realized something in your heart. Many things have pros and cons, black and white, yin and yang. It's like the ultimate life and death contained in the law of immortality. In the law of time, there are also two opposing attributes of speed and slowness. In the entire formation, time is fast in the time room, and time passes quickly inside. But outside the time chamber, time slows down. Time passed very slowly here, and his own movement speed was affected. At this moment, Lin Moyu seemed to have a new understanding of the law of time. The law of time is amazing, and he has an urge to comprehend the law of time. But Zhu Tian's warning is in my ears, don't comprehend other laws before the gods. Give up the law of thunder and lightning, and even the killing law of the second echelon must go with the flow. Specialize in a law of immortality. Lin Moyu believes that Zhu Tian will not harm himself, and knows that there must be something important in it. Press down the desire for the law of time, and wait for him to become a god before comprehending it. Come to the center of the array, there is an ancient and magnificent building. Shi Tang. A huge plaque hangs above the building. Engraved on the plaque are 3 ministers flying around. Shi Tang, do you want to cherish time? Lin Moyu smiled and understood naturally. Even if the cultivator possesses the longevity element, the journey of cultivation is even longer. If you want to go further, you really need to cherish your time. There are not many people in Shishi Hall, far inferior to the mission center, such a place in the middle of the transaction. Many people would rather pay 10 times the price to practice in the sea of laws of Renwang's training ground. There are laws and stars, and the speed of comprehending the laws is tens or hundreds of times faster than here. Only some people who are partial to the law will come here. Lin Moyu walked to the counter in the center of the hall, and said to the service staff behind, hello, I want a time room. The service staff is a young and beautiful girl whose strength has reached the super god level. How long do you need to rent, senior? She squinted her eyes, her smiling face was bright and beautiful like a bright moon. Not only is the person beautiful, but the voice is also extremely beautiful. In fact, after Lin Moyu entered the big world, it seems that he has never seen a girl with poor looks. From his aesthetic point of view, they are basically beauties. Perhaps this is the characteristic of the big world. Lin Moyu didn't care, let's rent it for 100 days first. The girl's eyes lit up, 100 days, that's 10,000 points. Here comes the big business. There are not many people in the time room, although it is about 10 times cheaper than the Renwang training ground. But 100 points a day is not cheap for many practitioners. Those who have comprehended the side door rules are often of average strength, and it is difficult to do tasks, and it is not easy to earn points. Except for the usual consumption and the purchase of medicinal materials, there is not much left. People who come here normally can rent for 10 days and half a month, which is considered a lot. There are very few people who come for 100 days at once. The girl named Zhu Qiao, with sparkling eyes, looked at Lin Moyu like a local tyrant. Senior, do you really want to rent for 100 days? That's 10,000 points. According to the rules in the time room, she can draw 1% of it and get 100 points. 100 points, for someone like her who has just surpassed the first level of super god and only has the first level of authority, it is also a considerable amount. Lin Moyu felt that Zhu Qiao's eyes were a little weird, as if he was a little too excited. Let's rent for 100 days first, if it's not enough, add more. Not enough and more. Zhu Qiao's eyes became brighter, it was really a rich man. But obviously only the 6th level super god, level 3 authority, how can Lin Moyu get so many points? It's not that Zhu Qiao has never seen seniors with 3rd level authority. Those who are super gods at the 8th and 9th levels can use it. How would she know that Lin Moyu has a huge sum of 720,000 points, and 10,000 points is just a fraction, and it is nothing to use up a little? Lin Moyu is just trying the effect of the time room first, and if the effect is good, he will definitely add it. 100 days is too short to comprehend a law. Zhu Qiao enthusiastically registered Lin Moyu, and then took Lin Moyu to the time room. Senior Lin, I have chosen the number 9 time room for you. There are thousands of time rooms in our place, and the 9th time room is the most special in the entire formation. It is the intersection of many nodes of the formation, and it has the clearest understanding of the laws of the entire great world, and the best effect. Although it can't compare to Law C, it is already the best room in our place. No matter what law Senior Lin wants to comprehend, time room number 9 will have a certain bonus. On the way to the time room, Zhu Qiao introduced some situations in the time room to Lin Moyu. Although in the same formation, the effects are similar, but there are still some differences in different positions. Under the shroud of the time formation, it will more or less affect the clarity of the laws of the great world. Some time houses have a little influence on the laws of the big world, while others have a greater influence. Although the difference is not large, the smaller the impact, the better. Zhu Qiao specially selected the best time house for Lin Moyu, a big customer. Naturally, a big customer needs to take care of it. The two followed the formation nodes and came to the number 9 time room. Zhu Qiao opened the door for Lin Moyu. Senior, don't worry, no one will disturb you. Lin Moyu could feel the law of time coming from the room. If I haven't come out after 100 days, you don't have to tell me to automatically deduct points. Lin Moyu doesn't know how long it will take him to understand. Anyway, his points can support up to 7,200 days. Converted to reality, it is 720 days, which is about 2 years, which should be enough. Zhu Qiao showed a bright smile. The junior knows, and the senior can practice with peace of mind. Lin Moyu nodded and walked into the time room. The quaint door closed with a roar, and the originally dark time room suddenly lit up. The surroundings became transparent. Lin Moyu seemed to be in the space, and the breath of the law of the great world came to his face. It is slightly different from the feeling outside, but the difference is not very big. If it wasn't for his soul quality being as high as the 4th rank, he might not be able to feel it. Any kind of law belongs to one of the laws of the great world. Even if there is no corresponding law star in the sea of laws, it is still possible to comprehend it from the laws of the great world, but the effect is not so good. The law of the great world. It's useless to me. Lin Moyu does not need to comprehend the laws of the great world, he comprehends the laws of immortality that belong only to him. There is no need for the law stars in the law sea, he has better things. In one's own soul world, in the multi-star spell, the law of immortality is manifested in a materialized form, and the effect is far better than the law of stars. The multi-star spell of the skeleton type contains the power of death of the law of immortality. Summoning multi-star spells contain the life force of the law of immortality. Lin Moyu only needs to comprehend them and integrate the two forces to comprehend the complete method of immortality. From 0 to 1 is the most difficult, and it took Lin Moyu more than 2 years. 0. Asking for flowers. But once it reaches 1, it will be much easier to comprehend later. Lin Moyu sat quietly in the time room and began to fully comprehend. After entering the big world, this is the first time to practice formally. As time passed day by day, Lin Moyu was completely immersed in his own cultivation. Suzaku 1 star, also known as Domain Master Star. The Domain Master's mansion is located here. The domain owner Zhu Tian looked at the news just received. His face was a little dignified. Is the information true? In front of him, a man wrapped in a black robe hung his head. There should be no fakes. His voice was equally hoarse and deep. His name is Black Sparrow, and he belongs to Zhu Tian's hidden power. Zhu Tian has several people like this under his command. The one who followed Lin Moyu before is also his official. Heikyu is mainly responsible for some intelligence work. This time he got the information about Lin Moyu and sent it over immediately. Zhu Tian said in a low voice, "You go down first, keep watching, if there is any change, tell me." Heikyu whispered, "Do you want to send someone to protect him?" Zhu Tian thought for a while, "Send 2 people to follow secretly, if it's not a last resort, you don't need to do anything, I believe he can solve it by himself." "Your subordinate understands," Heek responded, then turned and left. After he left, Zhu Tian entered Renwang's network and contacted Luo Chang'an. "Old Luo, come out." He was not polite at all, for Luo Chang'an, an old guy, the two of them knew everything, so there was no need to be polite at all. In front of him, light flickered, revealing Luo Chang'an's figure. This is the advantage of Renwang network, no matter where you are, if you want to meet, just a thought will do. Luo Chang'an stared at Zhu Tian unkindly. "Third Zhu, do you want to fight with this old man?" Zhu Tian said unhappily, "Ghosts have time to fight with you. Let me ask you, do you know that Lin Moyu has entered the list of demons who must kill?" Luo Chang'an didn't speak, but just looked at him quietly. His expression made Zhu Tian even more angry. "Don't pretend to be stupid, you must know. With the information network of your God of War temple, even the old man can know about you, how could your God of War temple not know?" Luo Chang'an sneered, "Then you still ask. Are you old and demented?" Zhu Tian and Luo Chang'an are 2 old fellows. I don't know how old they are together. Their big eyes are staring at each other, and they don't let anyone else. After a while, Zhu Tianshan couldn't help but ask, "What are you going to do at the Temple of War?" Luo Chang'an looked at him like an idiot. "Do you think I will tell you?" Zhu Tian snorted, "If you don't tell me, I can probably guess." "Since you can guess it, why don't you ask?" Luo Chang'an unceremoniously threw it back. No matter what he said, Zhu Tian said in a deep voice, "I just want to confirm, it doesn't matter if you don't say anything, I will immediately order people to protect Lin Moyu, and no one can touch him." Hearing this, Luo Chang'an's expression turned pale, and he snarled angrily, "Are you crazy? There will never be towering trees growing in the hotbed." Zhu Tian chuckled, "Are you in a hurry? Can you handle it?" What he wanted was Luo Chang'an's reaction. 000. Judging from the previous practices of the Temple of War God, he has roughly figured out what the Temple of War God will do. Luo Chang'an stared at Zhu Tian. "What are you going to do?" Zhu Tian said, "It's very simple, I want to share information about Lin Moyu. Don't hide the information you get from me, and I will tell you everything I know. Let me think about it." Luo Chang'an fell into deep thought. Zhu Tian was not in a hurry, and at the same time was thinking about some information about Lin Moyu. There is a list in the Demon Clan, which is set up for several of their hostile races, called the Devil Must Kill list. The people on the list are all areas that the demon race thinks will pose a threat to their own race. Lin Moyu showed amazing fighting power this time. Although his level is still low, he is still like an ant to the Demon Clan. But Lin Moyu's potential made the demons feel threatened. In case Lin Moyu grows up, if he can still maintain such combat power. So this time Lin Moyu has entered the must-kill list of the demons, and the demons will use various means to kill Lin Moyu. In fact, not only demons have must-kill lists, but humans also have similar lists. In the countless years of struggle between the human race and the demon race, it has become commonplace for the two sides to secretly attack and kill each other's genius. In racial strife, no method can be called vicious. As long as it achieves its purpose, that's fine. There once appeared a top genius in the human race, and he entered the must-kill list of the demon race. In order to kill him, the demon clan launched a great war at all costs. This battle spread to dozens of galaxies, nearly half of the star field, and dozens of gods participated in it. The human race took strict precautions to protect this genius, but in the end they still couldn't protect it. No one would have imagined that the demon clan paid a huge price and hired the Shadow clan, who were best at assassination. In the end, the gods in the Shadow clan acted and assassinated this genius who was only in the realm of a true god. The final result was that the human race lost a top genius. The high-level people of the human race were furious, and the peerless powerhouses in the City of Gods brazenly attacked, all the way into the Shadow clan. Beat the Shadow clan god who did it to ashes, and forced the Shadow clan to sign a covenant under the city. From then on, the Shadow clan declared to the whole world that any assassination would not use Shadow clan members beyond the level of the target itself. That is to say, if the assassination target is in the realm of the true gods, the Shadow clan will only use assassins in the realm of the true gods at most. This kind of covenant under the city was made without the strength of the human race. If it is not done, the Shadow clan may lead to the catastrophe of genocide. But Zhu Jian knew that the human race didn't really want to destroy the Shadow race. In fact, for a long time, the human race often let the Shadow race kill geniuses of other races. But it has never happened before, such a thing as a god killing a true god. That time it was the Shadow clan who went too far and broke the rules. If the Shadow clan was only attacking the God King, the human race might not react so violently. After all, the Shadow race is a tool. Tools can be used to help, but tools cannot break the rules. If the rules are broken, you will be punished. Who told you that the Shadow clan is not strong enough? Facing the strong human clan, you can only humble yourself. After thinking for a while, Luo Chang'an said, "Okay, I promise you, we will share Lin Moyu's information, but I also have a request." "Say it." Seeing Luo Chang'an, Zhu Jian agreed, and his attitude improved a lot. Luo Chang'an said, "You can send someone to protect Lin Moyu, but you can't let him find out. What we need are fighters, not flowers that have grown up with care." Zhu Jian waved his hand. "Nonsense, don't tell me I don't know this truth. I agree, tell me, what other information do you have?" Luo Chang'an was also very straightforward, directly telling the information he knew. After the demon clan put Lin Moyu on the must-kill list, they went to the Shadow clan. Zhu Jian snorted, "I've already guessed that they would be like this. Apart from these, don't these guys have any other means?" Luo Chang'an shook his head and said, "But apart from the Shadow clan, they still went to find another clan." "Which one?" Zhu Jian raised his eyebrows. Luo Chang'an shook his head. "We don't know yet, the information on the devil's side is tightly sealed, and we don't know much." "Even you don't know, it seems that this matter is not trivial." Zhu Jian's face was gloomy. He knew the ability of the God of War temple. If you don't even know about the Temple of War God, it can only show that the demons are indeed very secretive. The more secretive it is, the greater the threat, and the more it cannot be taken lightly. Luo Chang'an said, "The meaning of the Palace Master is to look at Lin Moyu's potential. He came out of it. To be precise, he was killed out of the small world. His murderous intent is very strong, especially against alien races. This is a good thing, and it is not a good thing. So for him, we need to continue to observe, and we can't obliterate his killing intent." Zhu Jian snorted, "You guys, it's just that you think too much and make it so complicated. But I know what you mean, and I have a sense of proportion. Let me know if you have any news. I'll think about whether I should find someone to visit the small world where Lin Moyu was born." Luo Chang'an hummed, "I've thought about this too, but I suggest you ask the city lord, maybe there will be a different answer." Zhu Jian stared, "Do you know something?" Luo Chang'an shook his head, "I don't know, but I have asked questions like that and you can also ask them." "Well, I will contact you if there is any new news, and remember to send any new news if you have any." After finishing speaking, Luo Chang'an disappeared and left Renwang Network. Zhu Jian also left. He sat on the chair, tapped his fingers on the armrest, and talked to himself. It seemed that old man Luo must know something. This guy won't say anything, and ask me to ask the city lord. Just ask, "What are you afraid of?" As he spoke, he reported to him that he wanted to explore Lin Moyu's background. Soon got a reply from the city lord. The answer is very simple, 2 words, "No." But it was these 2 words that made Zhu Jian's face change slightly. It is obviously very wrong to refuse so simply. He was even more puzzled. Is Lin Moyu special in the small world he was born in? Among the 20 nearby galaxies, the star Suzaku 90-1 is the only one with a time room. Although there are not many people who come to the time room, there will always be some, and it will also bring some extraterrestrial visitors to the star of Suzaku 90-1. Lin Moyu comprehends the law in the time room, completely ignorant of the passage of time and the changes of the outside world. While he was practicing, groups of people came and went. Few people can spend a lot of points and practice for a long time like Lin Moyu. At the stage of the super god realm, points are not easy to earn. Level 3 authority, mission rewards can range from a few hundred to as much as 1,000. Apart from the daily ferry and the purchase of materials, there are not many that can really be used for cultivation. Unlike Lin Moyu, there is no need for this, and the earning points are fast enough. In a blink of an eye, Lin Moyu has already spent 1,000 days in the time room, and 100 days have passed outside. In 1,000 days, he has earned a full 100,000 points. As a staff member, Zhu Qiao was in a great mood, and her smile became brighter and brighter. 100,000 points, he can get 1% of it, fully 1,000 points. For her who only has level 1 authority, 1,000 points is a huge sum of money. On this day, the door of time room number 9 opened, and Lin Moyu walked out of it. 100 days in the outside world, 1,000 days in the time house, nearly 3 doctors. This is also the longest time for Lin Moyu to practice in one breath since he changed his profession. There is no time to practice, it is true. The law of time is magical and fair at the same time. After 3 years in the time room, his bone age increased by 3 years. Now if you go to the test again, he is actually 31 years old, not 28 years old anymore. Even so, the 31-year-old super god 9th rank is also scary enough. Lin Moyu has continuously comprehended the law of immortality in the 1,000 days. With the realization of the law as a reference, Lin Moyu's cultivation speed is extremely fast, and his cultivation level is rising steadily. Finally, after 1,000 days, the level was raised to the 9th level of super god, and the law control rate reached 9%. You only need to go one step further and reach 10% to step into the realm of heavy gods. In the eyes of others, Lin Moyu is now the pinnacle of super god. But Lin Moyu is aware of his own strength, and it is not an exaggeration to say that he is invincible in the supernatural realm. Even if it is an ordinary 3rd-order true god or 4th-order true god, he can win the battle and kill it. The 5th level of super god can at least draw a tie. Back at the Shishi Hall, the Shishi Hall was still deserted and empty, except for Zhu Qiao, a staff member, and me. There was no one else. Zhu Qiao ran over quickly when she saw Lin Moyu. Senior Lin, you're out of customs. Lin Moyu nodded. The 100th day has come, and everything will be released. 100 days. Zhu Qiao was slightly taken aback. Only then did she realize that the 100 days Lin Moyu mentioned meant the 100 days in the real world. Lin Moyu asked strangely, is there any problem? Zhu Qiao quickly shook her head. No problem, no problem. I thought the 100 days mentioned by Senior Lin were the 100 days in the practice room, but luckily I didn't bother Senior Lin. During this period, Zhu Qiao wanted to call Lin Moyu several times, but luckily she endured it all. Lin Moyu didn't care, and smiled slightly. It's okay, it doesn't matter if you bother me. Well, I should go too. Zhu Qiao hummed, I'll send Senior Lin out. For this big customer who has earned him 1,000 points, and is so easy to talk to, he has no airs and is full of good feelings. He obediently led the way in front, and did not return until he watched Lin Moyu off to the stars. There is still some reluctance in the eyes, after all, such a good customer is too rare. After Lin Moyu came out, he sent a message to Ren Qiang, and Ren Qiang responded immediately, saying that he was in Galaxy 50. Lin Moyu was slightly taken aback. This guy went to Galaxy 50, which means that his authority has been raised from the 2nd level to the 3rd level. But what is this guy going to Galaxy 50 for? Lin Moyu didn't think too much, and went to Galaxy 50. As a medium-sized galaxy, the Suzaku 50 galaxy is much more prosperous than a low-level galaxy. Even the closest galaxy, Suzaku 51, is far inferior to him. There is an essential difference between low-level galaxies and medium-sized galaxies. If ordinary low-level galaxies want to be upgraded, it is important to meet multiple conditions. One of them is to have a deity appear. In addition, there are some other conditions. The god Venerable alone has already blocked most of the lower galaxies. The medium galaxy is very lively with people coming and going. True gods can be seen everywhere here, and there are not a few god kings. The 9th level of super gods is even more numerous. After Lin Moyu arrived, he received a message from Ren Qiang, who had just completed the task. Lin Moyu met him in front of the mission center, and Ren Qiang not only raised his authority to the 3rd level, but also his strength to the 7th level of super god. When Ren Qiang saw Lin Moyu, he exaggeratedly exclaimed, "My dear, you have reached the peak of super god." He knew that Lin Moyu had mastered the field of laws. Once he reached the 9th level of super god, he could be called the peak of super god, and his strength was far beyond the ordinary 9th level of super god. Lin Moyu asked, "How did you come to Galaxy 50? Ren Qiang said, "Come and see the fun. Watch the excitement." Lin Moyu was slightly taken aback. "What excitement is worth watching?" Ren Qiang said, "Didn't you realize that there are a lot of people here?" Lin Moyu looked at it, and it was indeed better than the drawing when he came last time. It's just that he didn't think about it elsewhere, he simply felt that there were more people in the medium galaxy. Ren Qiang pointed to the sky. "There are more people in the starry sky." Lin Moyu asked, "What are they watching?" "People from the Buddha family want to come over to him and talk about Buddhism with us," Ren Qiang said in a low voice. Lin Moyu was slightly taken aback. He had heard of the Buddha family. As far as he knows, among the thousands of races in the great world, the Buddha race is a relatively peculiar one. They preach that they have no competition with the world, but they occupy a piece of starry sky by themselves and do not fight with other races. But they are very powerful, and foreigners generally dare not provoke them easily. The relationship between the human race and the Buddhist race is neither good nor bad. At least they didn't have any violent conflicts with each other. In the world of the previous life, there was a religion called Buddhism. Lin Moyu didn't know if the Buddhism in the previous life had any connection with the Buddhas in the big world. Lin Moyu asked, "What do you mean when you talk about Buddhism?" Ren Qiang said, "It seems that you don't know anything about the Buddha family. Now that you have level 3 authority, you should be able to see the information of the Buddha family. With different permissions, the information that can be seen is also different." Lin Moyu checked the materials once when he was at level 1 authority, and even bought some materials. The soul clothes were refined at that time. Later, I was too busy and kept busy, so I couldn't take time off to read the materials. Lin Moyu asked, "When will the Buddhas come?" Ren Qiang calculated, "There are still a few days left, but the altar has been set up in the starry sky. Let's go and have a look." Lin Moyu said, "It's also good, because I have seen it." A huge altar stands in the starry sky. It starts a kilometer away from the altar, surrounded by a large number of human cultivators in all directions. Among the cultivators of the human race, those closest to the altar are all god kings. After that, there are true gods and super gods. The order of far and near is determined by the level of cultivation, and the order is well ordered. At this time, there was still 3 days before the lecture on Buddhism. Lin Moyu and Ren Qiang chose their seats and watched from a distance. Ren Qiang looked left and right. For him, he really came to join in the fun. Lin Moyu checked the information about the Buddhist family. With level 3 authority, you can view a lot more information. Some of them are talking about the Buddhist family. The Buddhist race is indeed a unique race. It not only forms its own race, but also absorbs thousands of races. Among the Buddhists, it is called refuge. As long as you convert to the Buddhist clan, you can become a member of the Buddhist clan and be blessed by the Buddhist clan. Even if you are hunted down by foreigners, even if you are heinous, as long as you convert to the Buddhist clan, you will be protected by the Buddhist clan. Among the Buddhists, the most common saying is, "Put down the butcher knife and become a Buddha immediately." There are so many objects of conversion for the Buddhists, no matter what race they are, he almost always refuses to come. Unlike the human race where there are all humans, the demon race is full of demons. Among the Buddhist tribe, there are people, demons, stone tribes, bullhead tribes and so on. Most of the races in the big world can be found in the Buddha race. It can also be said that the Buddha family is a hodgepodge race. Even after a long time, it is not clear what ethnic origin they are. All those who join the Buddhist clan call themselves Buddhists, and it has nothing to do with their race. In the Buddhist race, their realm divisions are also different from those of other races. The super god realm is called King Kong in their mouths. The real god realm and god king are arhats and bodhisattvas respectively. The state of divine dignity can be called Buddha. It is said that the strongest of the Buddhist clan, known as the Buddha, is even more powerful than the gods. He compared the Buddhism with the Buddhism in the world where he lived in his previous life, and found that the two have many things in common. It seems that the ideas of the Buddhist clan have spread widely, even affecting the small world of the human race, and Buddhism has also been formed. The Buddhists continue to publicize their theories that all beings are equal, don't kill, and love peace. Moreover, they will go to various ethnic groups to preach Buddhism from time to time, which is the origin of preaching on Buddhism. For countless years, the Buddhists have come here for countless times. In the long term, it will come once every 1,000 or 800 years, and in the shortest time, it will come once in a few decades. It has been more than 300 years since the last time I came here. The longer the interval, the larger the scale of preaching on Buddhism. Ren Qiang whispered, I heard that this time the Buddhist clan will travel across the 4 major star regions, hundreds of galaxies, and give hundreds of lectures on Buddhism, which will last for 10 years. Lin Moyu hummed, and continued to look up other information about the Buddha family. For this race, Lin Moyu is very interested. Ren Qiang continued from the side, I don't know how many people will be bewitched by the Buddha clan this time. Bewitched? Lin Moyu looked over, a little puzzled. Ren Qiang explained, I also heard from the elders in the family that every time the Buddhist clan talks about Buddhism, they will take away a group of people. These people leave the human race and join the Buddhist clan, becoming the central part of the Buddhist clan. Lin Moyu frowned, does the higher-ups of the human race not care? Don't the human race ignore such a blatant robbing of people from the human race? Moreover, they were all cultivators. Lin Moyu didn't believe that the higher-ups of the human race didn't care about it. He could only say that there was a deeper reason. Ren Qiang shook his head, it doesn't seem to matter, and every time the Buddhists come to talk about Buddhism, those adults will agree. Lin Moyu guessed that there must be a reason, but he didn't know it for a while. Ren Qiang continued, the Buddhists don't just snatch people from our human race, but also from other races. This also leads to their increasing number and the expansion of the star field they occupy. Strange, yes, the other races didn't respond either. Lin Moyu fell into deep thought. Not only the human race did not respond, but other races also did not respond, allowing the Buddha race to rob people. It looks really weird inside. Lin Moyu continued to look at the materials of the former Yu Buddha. There are not many records about the Buddhist family, and many are just descriptions. Lin Moyu read it quickly, but couldn't get the answer. Thinking about it, I am only a third-level authority, and the information I can see is also elementary, so naturally I can't get any answers. There is still some time before the lecture on Buddhism. Lin Moyu simply checked other materials. He likes to read very much. By looking at the materials, he can learn more about the human race and the whole big world. As more and more materials were read, Lin Moyu's understanding of the big world became deeper and deeper. Time passed unconsciously. Ren Qiang's voice came from next to his ear, people from the Buddha clan are here. Lin Moyu withdrew his attention and looked in the direction Ren Qiang pointed. A ball of golden light flew from far to near, the speed seemed slow but really fast. The dragon chant sounded in the soul. Lin Moyu's pupils narrowed slightly, and he saw a golden dragon galloping across the starry sky. On its back, there is an equally resplendent Buddhist temple. Shenlong as a mount. Lin Moyu couldn't help being taken aback. The dragon is the highest level in the dragon clan, and the Buddhist clan even used the dragon as a mount to fly in the starry sky with the Buddhist temple on its back. If it is known by the dragon clan. After thinking about it, he immediately realized something was wrong. Since the Buddhists dared to use the dragon as a mount to carry the Buddhist temple on their backs in such a big way, how could the dragons not know? This shows that the dragon clan acquiesced. At this time, he thought of the information he had just read before. There are 8 dragons in the Buddhist clan, and one of the 8 is the dragon. At that time, he did not expect that he was referring to the dragon clan. Lin Moyu asked in a low voice, did the Buddhas also take away the dragon from the dragons? Ren Qiang was not very sure, maybe there is. Anyway, the elders in the family said that there are thousands of races in the Buddhist clan, and almost all races outside can be found in the Buddhist clan. There is only one race that is an exception. What race? Zerg. Lin Moyu was shocked. There are thousands of races in the Buddhist race, but the Zerg race is missing. Is it because Zerg is special? Ren Qiang said again, I heard some time ago that the dragon race seems to be fighting with the Zerg race. Why are they fighting? I heard that the Zerg tribe used the corpse of the dragon tribe as a puppet, and was discovered by the dragon tribe. This is the biggest insult to the dragon tribe, so they fought. Ren Qiang's words made Lin Moyu think that in the deep space of the small world, there are zergs occupying the corpses of dragons. Although it is only a giant dragon, the giant dragon also feels that he has suffered a great insult. Later he told Antares about it, and Antares was also very angry. Lin Moyu guessed whether it was Antares who passed the news back to the dragon clan. He had no doubt that Antares had this ability. If this is the case, he thinks that the Buddha clan is even more terrifying. The dragon clan can fight the Zerg clan because of the corpse, but the Buddha clan abducted the dragon, but the dragon clan acquiesced. The sense of vigilance in my heart was immediately raised to the highest level. The dragon chant sounded again, and the dragon had already carried the Buddha's temple to the altar. Amitabha. The resounding Buddha's name resounded through the starry sky. The sound of the soul came like a huge wave, and the entire starry sky was roaring. The starry sky, which was still slightly noisy, became quiet in an instant. Everyone present, their eyes were slightly slack and lost focus. This Buddha's call is very strange, except for the people in the starry sky. People in the stars can't hear it at all. The accuracy of the positioning of the voice also highlights the degree of control of the opponent's power, which is extremely subtle. There was no sound in the starry sky for a while. Lin Moyu frowned suddenly. He felt a strange power from the sound. There is a trace of special law in the voice, wanting to drill into one's own soul. Although the law is small, it is very tenacious, hitting the crystal wall outside the soul time and time again. The crystal wall buzzed, blocking the invasion of the law. Through the collision of laws, Lin Moyu can deduce that the level of laws is very high. At least the law of the second echelon, and in the second echelon, it is also the law of the front. There is a strong power of deception in the law, and it seems to confuse people's hearts. Lin Moyu came to this conclusion based on his own feelings and seeing everyone's reactions. The vigilance in Lin Moyu's heart was even stronger. He stretched out his hand and patted Ren Qiang beside him, and let out a low voice, "Wake up." Ren Qiang's whole body trembled, his eyes regained focus in an instant, and he woke up. Ren Qiang felt chills in his heart, and his face became pale. What happened? Just now, I wanted to join the Buddhist clan for a moment. Lin Moyu said via voice transmission, their Buddha names have the power of demagogy, which will affect others. But as long as you are determined enough, you can finally get rid of it. Just as Lin Moyu finished speaking, someone in the starry sky had cleared up. The first to wake up were the God Kings. One by one, the God Kings woke up one after another, and the morning and evening of waking up basically represented the strength of their willpower and the strength of their souls. However, there are nearly 1 million people in the starry sky, and no one can be completely unaffected like Lin Moyu. Amitabha. Another Buddha's horn sounded. Again. Lin Moyu didn't expect the other party to come to the second wave, and he was slightly angry in his heart. But he immediately felt something was wrong. All the people who hadn't woken up, after the Buddha's name, woke up one after another and returned to their normal appearance. Laughter echoed in the starry sky. Kong heard that the Buddha is coming from afar, and Mr. Lin welcomes him. The space was slightly distorted, and a person suddenly appeared on the altar. Lin Tang, the Star Master of Galaxy 50. Lin Moyu and Lin Tang once had a relationship, and they have a good impression of Lin Tang. Benefactor Lin, stay safe and sound. In the loud voice, Kongwen Buddha slowly flew out from the Buddhist hall and stood in front of Lin Tang. Buddha is a title in the Buddhist family, but it is actually because of the divine state in the world. Lin Tang, as the Star Master of Galaxy number 50, also possesses the cultivation level of a deity, and is on an equal footing with Kongwen Buddha. Kongwen Buddha and Lin Tang were obviously old acquaintances. The two were smiling and exchanging greetings, and the atmosphere was very harmonious. What shocked Lin Moyu was that the Space Buddha turned out to be a human race. He didn't expect that there were gods from the human race who joined the Buddhist clan, which surprised him. I don't know whether he was already a deity before joining the Buddhist clan, or whether he became a little obedient to the Buddha after joining the Buddhist clan. When Lin Tang and Kong heard about the old Buddha, the starry sky was extremely quiet. The godly aura of the two naturally revealed, suppressing the audience, and the world became extremely silent. Even the flames of distant stars seemed to be a little weaker. The divine dragon that came over from the Buddha hall coiled up its body, and stopped quietly on the altar, motionless. A moment later, Lin Tang and Kongwen Buddha finished talking about the past. Lin Tang glanced across the starry sky, and his voice sounded slowly. This lecture on Buddhism is presided over by Buddha Kongwen Buddha. Kongwen Buddha has a godly cultivation base. Although what he said is the Dharma of the Buddha family, all Dharmas will lead to the same destination quickly. You can listen carefully. Remember, don't make any noise in the middle, don't fight together. If anyone doesn't want to listen, please leave by yourself. If you are enlightened on the way, you should also not make noise or disturb others. This lecture on Buddhism will start after every day, please wait patiently. After the words fell, Lin Tang slowly walked aside, leaving the huge altar to the Space Buddha. Space Buddha proclaimed the Buddha's name again, and pointed his finger at the Buddhist temple on the dragon's back. ACCJ. The Buddhist hall burst into dazzling brilliance with a buzzing sound, and the entire Buddhist hall left the body of the dragon and came to the altar. The golden light of the Buddha hall is bright and shining. In the golden light, 18 arhats holding various weapons flew out and stood in various positions of the altar to form a Buddha formation. Ren Qiang said in a low voice, "This is the formation of the 18 arhats, a very famous formation among the Buddhists." Lin Moyu has also seen the saying of the 18 arhats in the data. It is said that 18 Buddhist arhats at the level of gods and kings form a large formation, which is enough to compete with the gods. It is a very powerful formation. However, Lin Moyu could also tell that the 18 arhats on the altar in front of him were not real people, but formed by means of the Buddhist clan. How powerful it is unknown, but it is full of momentum and good-looking enough to bluff people. Shenlong was still entrenched in the air, his eyes were closed, and he seemed to be asleep. Kongwen heard that a lotus platform appeared under the Buddha's feet. The lotus platform has 12 leaves, which is known as the 12-grade lotus platform. The lotus stand is the most common magic weapon of the Buddhists. It is very useful for fighting with people and traveling. The level of the lotus platform can be judged directly by the number of leaves. The 12th grade lotus platform is already at the god level. Kongwen heard that the Buddha sat quietly on the lotus platform, folded his hands together, and formed the Buddha's handprint, sitting in a group and waiting. In a day, people kept coming over. It was already a million scale, but now it has more than doubled. There were people everywhere in the starry sky. Lin Moyu and Ren Qiang backed away again and again, even Buddha Kongwen could not be seen. Lin Moyu pulled Ren Qiang back, all the way back to the outermost edge of the crowd. Ren Qiang asked, "Will we retreat too far outside?" Lin Moyu didn't think so. "It's okay, you can just listen with your ears, don't worry about him. Also, be firm when listening, and don't be fooled. If you can't hold on, back away. Otherwise, if you take refuge and enter the Buddhist family, it will not be fun." Ren Qiang seemed to understand. "Will it be like this?" Lin Moyu nodded, "Possibly." Quote, he analyzed based on what he saw, and felt that Kongwen Buddha might still use that law when he talked about Buddhism. Once a weak-willed person is easily bewitched, he will have the idea of converting to Buddhism. Lin Moyu even suspects that every time he talks about Buddhism, those who convert are those who are not strong-willed. As long as the will is firm enough and the soul is strong enough, it will not be affected. Why didn't the human race stop? According to his analysis, those who are not determined will hardly become angry. It's useless for such a person to come. Since the Buddhas like it, then take it away. The human race voluntarily gave up a group of people and asked him to convert to Buddhism and leave the human race. It sounds cruel, but it is what it is. It's not that the human race is cruel, but that the big world is too cruel because of reality. If you are not strong, you will perish. A day later, with the sound of the Buddha's name, the lecture on Buddhism officially began. There have been more than 2 million cultivators gathered here, ranging from the super god realm to the god king realm. All dharmas lead to the same goal by different routes. Although the dharma of the Buddha clan is not the same as that of the human race, the stones from other mountains can be used to attack jade, and many things can be learned from it. The Buddha's light shines everywhere, and the golden Buddha's light covers the light of the stars illuminating the entire galaxy. The starry sky is full of Buddha light, resplendent and resplendent. But among the stars, it is still as usual, and ordinary people can't see the Buddha's light at all. Lin Moyu's eyes shrunk, but his eyes were clear, and he knew that the Buddha's light was actually an illusion, the light of the soul. What you see is not real. If there is no Buddha in your heart, then the Buddha's light will not be visible. What is Buddha? Buddha, purge sentient beings. What is emptiness? Emptiness is not nothingness, fullness is a subject. A sound like a thought with great meaning spit out from the mouth of the Buddha Kongwen, arousing the laws of the great world and disturbing thousands of waves in the starry sky. The mouth is full of golden orchids, and there seem to be countless golden lights hanging down in the starry sky. Faintly, it seems that an invincible Buddha appeared in the starry sky. The Buddha is boundless and occupies the starry sky, as if it is larger than the entire galaxy. It is magnificent, ancient, and vast. Let people give birth to the idea of worship. Countless people have heard the Buddha's voice, or their eyes are slightly closed, and they are intoxicated, or their eyes are out of focus, and they are already ecstasy. This is the case with Ren Qiang, although Lin Moyu warned him to be firm in his mind and not be confused by the Buddha's voice. Knowing is one thing, doing is another. He couldn't resist Kongwen Buddha's voice at all. There were only a few god kings, although they were listening, their eyes were clear and they were not moved. Standing in the starry sky, Lin Tang glanced across the audience, with a little satisfaction on his face. He showed admiration for those god kings with clear eyes. Then he saw Lin Moyu, who also had clear eyes. When he saw Lin Moyu also saw him. Lin Tang nodded slightly towards Lin Moyu, and Lin Moyu also smiled. Lin Tang is clear that Lin Moyu has a fourth-grade soul, so naturally he will not be affected by the Buddha's music. Xiao Yulin doesn't seem to be interested in preaching on Buddhism. Lin Moyu suddenly received a voice transmission from Lin Tang. Lin Moyu smiled slightly. I have my way. Lin Tang laughed. That's right, that's right. Stick to your own way and not be attracted by outsiders. Xiao Yulin's idea is very correct. However, sometimes, listening to outsiders may inspire you, which is not a bad thing. Lin Moyu suddenly asked, Master Star Master, why do you allow the Buddhists to come to our human race to talk about Buddhism? I heard that many human races are taken away every time. Lin Moyu has his own guesses, but guesses are just guesses, not necessarily the real answer. As Lin Tang, he will definitely know a lot of things, and maybe he can get some information from it. Lin Tang smiled. With your authority, you are not qualified to understand the things involved. The old man knows that you will have a lot of guesses, maybe right, maybe wrong, but you don't care. This is a decision made by those grown-ups. You, including the old man, can only follow it. Lin Moyu said softly, I understand, Junior, thank you for your guidance. Although Lin Tang didn't give Lin Moyu an answer, he also revealed some information, which just fit Lin Moyu's rules. Before the Buddhas came, the human races discussed Buddhism and preached the Tao, which made some human races convert to the Buddha race and leave the human race. The inside story is set by the top of the human race. He is really not qualified to know the specific reason. In fact, so what if he knows, he has no ability to manage it. Lin Tang was already being polite to him, but if it was someone else, Lin Tang wouldn't bother him at all. Lin Moyu didn't ask any more questions. In the future, when his authority has increased and his strength is sufficient, the current mystery will naturally be solved. The lectures on Buddhism lasted as short as a few days and as long as a month. During this period of time, people will continue to come, but there will not be too many people leaving. Lin Tang also said that stones from other mountains can be used to attack jade. Although Lin Moyu insists on his own way, it doesn't hurt to listen to it. What's more, the Erhua Ren Qiang beside him has been completely fascinated, so he still needs to take care of him. Gradually, Lin Moyu felt the specialness of preaching on Buddhism. It is impossible for any law in the big world to be proclaimed or recorded on paper. Everyone needs their own understanding of the law. But Kongwen Buddha spoke eloquently, and he integrated the ideas of the Buddhist clan with the laws of the big world. Preach in a unique way, so that the listener can get some understanding of the law from it. And what he was talking about was not a specific law, but a more general concept. In just 2 days, some people began to comprehend. 0. Asking for flowers. 0. The aura on his body changed a little and became stronger and stronger. Lin Moyu also found that some people use the preaching of Buddhism to fight against the Buddhist Daffa and hone their will. From this point of view, the Buddhist preaching on Buddhism has many benefits to the human race. In the blink of an eye, it has been 5 days since he preached on the Buddha, and Kongwen Buddha still has no intention of stopping. The golden light in the starry sky continued, and the voice of the Buddha became stronger and stronger. The illusory Buddha statues have also become more and more numerous. When the sermon entered the 7th day, Kongwen Buddha's tone changed slightly. This change is very subtle, and almost most people can't hear it. Lin Tang was slightly puzzled when he heard it, but he didn't say anything. Lin Moyu trembled slightly at the moment when the Space Buddha's tone changed. Outside his soul world, 10,000 Buddha lights suddenly appeared, illuminating the soul world. Take refuge in my Buddha, and you will have eternal life. Take refuge in my Buddha, infinite life venerable. Take refuge in my Buddha, no worries and no sorrows. A sound of Buddha's voice resounds through the soul world. The Buddha's light is like a big hand slapping on the soul world, trying to enter the soul world, but it is blocked by the crystal barrier. Lin Moyu's soul opened his eyes. This is. Want me to convert? At this time, his soul is completely separated from his body, and his soul temporarily loses control over his body. He knew that this was the work of Kongwen Buddha. I just don't know if it's just for him, or for everyone. Lin Moyu had a fierce look in his eyes. I want to convert, dreaming. The soul world exploded, and the 9-colored dragon's soul crystal uttered a loud dragon chant, shattering the Buddha's light. At the same time, the magic stars burst into brilliant light, confronting Wan Dao Buddha's light. The giant tree of talent kept swaying, and thousands of branches flew out of the crystal barrier, like countless whips hitting the Buddha's light. Wan Dao Buddha's light was instantly twisted to pieces. Immediately afterwards, a great sun rose from outside the soul world. Kongwen Buddha sat under the sun. Benefactor, you are too murderous, put down the butcher knife and become a Buddha immediately. Take refuge in my Buddha, you will go to the pure land of ultimate bliss, free from disasters and diseases, and you will live forever. Kongwen Buddha looked at Lin Moyu with lightning-like eyes. Lin Moyu sneered back, I have murderous intentions, do you care? Get out of here. Lin Moyu's voice was like thunder, shaking and resounding in the soul world, interrupting the Buddha's voice. This is his world. In this world, he is the ruler and has great authority. In particular, he is a 4th-rank soul, and the soul world is far superior to other people. It is not easy to invade his soul world. Even though Kongwen Buddha is in the realm of gods and possesses a 4th-grade soul, it is still very difficult. The crystal barrier firmly protects the soul world from the invasion of external evils. The great sun was rising, and Kongwen Buddha sat under the great sun, his eyes shining brightly. 4th-grade soul, very good. The almsgiver has a predestined relationship with my Buddha. If you don't take refuge now, when will you wait? Lin Moyu sneered, killing intent rose, and the branches of the giant talent tree turned into whips, beating Da frantically. The big day was beaten and deformed. Here Lin Moyu is at home, the souls are fighting, he is not afraid of Kongwen Buddha. Amitabha. Kongwen heard the Buddha's name. The fate of the donor and my Buddha has been determined by the 807 scriptures, and there is no need for unnecessary resistance. Lin Moyu sneered, you and your sister. The branches whipped more violently, and the 9-colored dragon's soul also flew out of the soul, turning into a dragon, and opened its huge mouth, as if to devour the sun. Kongwen Buddha's eyes lit up. 9-colored dragon's soul crystal. I never thought that the benefactor has such a relationship with the dragon clan. There are 8 tribes of heaven and dragon in my Buddhist family, and among them is the dragon tribe. It seems that the fate between the benefactor and my Buddhist family cannot be escaped. Lin Moyu was about to start scolding. All kinds of messy things can be pulled together. Apart from absorbing all races, this Buddhist clan is also extremely shameless. He knows what taking refuge means, it's brainwashing. If he really converts, he will be a member of the Buddhist clan in the future, and will no longer belong to the human race. It is impossible to accomplish what you want to do. So contrary to his ideals. How firm Lin Moyu's will is and how it will be affected. In his heart, he has regarded Kongwen Buddha as an enemy. To the enemy, there is no need to say much, just kill. The soul pointed out towards Kongwen Buddha under the sun. Fusion spell, curse of time. With a buzzing sound, the red light flashes. Kongwen Buddha immediately snorted, showing a little pain. To deal with the soul, the best way to use it is naturally to attack the soul. When Kongwen heard that the Buddha's soul was under attack, he also suddenly paused when he was preaching on Buddhism in the starry sky. Then resumed. The pause of less than a second made Lin Tang feel puzzled. He looked at Kongwen Buddha, as if he wanted to see what happened. The Space Buddha had 2 purposes at once, preaching and attacking Lin Moyu at the same time. He was obviously offended by Lin Moyu's soul attack, and in the midst of the brilliant sun, a black light suddenly appeared. Carrying killing intent, the black light rushed out of the sun, turned into thousands of weapons, and collided with the branches of the giant talent tree. Pretending. Lin Moyu chuckled disdainfully. Kongwen Buddha said in a deep voice, the benefactor insists on this, so don't blame the Buddha for forcibly converting. Lin Moyu sneered, you can try it. It was very hypocritical in Lin Moyu's eyes to hear about the Buddha's actions. He even felt that the Buddhas were not as good as demons. Demons are really bad, that's the big world, there's no way. People like the Buddhas disgusted him even more. Want to transform yourself? Are you kidding me? It is absolutely impossible. Kongwen heard that the Buddha put his hands together and formed a Dharma seal. The great sun suddenly ignited and turned into a huge fireball. The fireball hit the soul world heavily, and dense cracks were smashed out of the crystal wall. Lin Moyu snorted. He didn't expect Kongwen Buddha's methods to be so fierce. Go! With a point of Lin Moyu's finger, his magic star flew upwards, instantly became bigger, and hit the sun. Da Ri was knocked into the air immediately, but flew back again in the next second. Kongwen Buddha recited Buddhist scriptures. Almsgiver can stop pointlessly resisting. You have a predestined relationship with my Buddha, so you must join the Buddha family. Lin Moyu didn't respond, and the branch changed its target, no longer whipping the big sun, but turned to Kongwen Buddha. Kongwen once again formed a Dharma seal with both hands of the Buddha. Respectfully, the great Sun Buddha has come. The big sun that was knocked into the sky exploded violently, and a golden Buddha appeared. The golden body Buddha exudes a dazzling Buddha's light all over his body. The Buddha's light is like a sharp sword, and the branches of the giant tree of talent are cut off by the Buddha's light. The spell star was also hit hard and flew back immediately. Under the illumination of the Buddha's light, the 9-colored dragon's soul crystal smoked all over its body. He roared unwillingly and flew back. The crystal wall is shining, blocking the Buddha's light. But Lin Moyu suddenly discovered that the crystal wall gradually changed under the light of Buddha. It seems to have the meaning of being assimilated by Buddha's light. Lin Moyu was horrified. This is forced transformation. From self-conversion to forced conversion. This is to force yourself to join the Buddhist clan. If the crystal wall can't stop it, then your own soul world can't stop it either. The phantom of the great Sun Buddha is approaching. It is so terrifying. Lin Moyu wanted to tell Lin Tang, but he was trapped in the soul world and couldn't move his body. The Buddha's light was like a cage, trapping him firmly. Kongwen Buddha proclaimed the Buddha's name. Dona, don't resist anymore. You have a Buddha in your heart. Resistance is useless. There is your sister. Lin Moyu's will is extremely firm, and his soul is also shining brightly, constantly strengthening the power of the crystal wall. But doing so can only delay the forced transition and cannot stop it. Kongwen smiled in the Buddha's eyes. Almsgiver, how long can you wait like this? Lin Moyu sneered again and again. Long time, longer than you. Kongwen Buddha lowered his gaze, knowing that Lin Moyu couldn't be persuaded, so he simply didn't persuade him anymore. Lin Moyu continued to increase the energy of the crystal wall, consuming a lot of soul power, and the talent giant tree sent all the soul power accumulated recently without reservation. The Buddha's light became more and more intense, and in the soul, the voice of the Buddha continued to invade Lin Moyu. In the Buddha's light, countless Buddhist characters emerged, like ghost symbols, pasted on the soul world. In a blink of an eye, more than 1/10 of the crystal wall has been eroded by the Buddha's light. Lin Moyu looked at Kongwen Buddha and knew that he was the source. If you want to get rid of the phantom of Great Sun Buddha, the most important thing is to get rid of it. With a heartbeat, the soul itself flew out, rushing towards Kongwen Buddha like lightning. The power of the soul rolled and moved, instantly becoming extremely violent. Kongwen Buddha's complexion changed drastically. Lin Moyu wanted to explode his soul. Kongwen Buddha's hand seal, a golden soul garment appeared on the soul, and at the same time, a golden bell appeared on the soul. The big bell roared and sprinkled thousands of streams of light, protecting the soul of Kongwen Buddha. Boom! Lin Moyu's soul blew up, not only the soul, but also the soul world. The berserk power raged in this void world. The space Buddha was blown upside down, and a large number of cracks appeared on the big clock. The self-explosion came too fast, and Kongwen Buddha had no time to stop it, and his face was extremely ugly. How could he have thought that Lin Moyu would be so staunch? In order not to be transformed, he would rather blow his own soul. But in the next second, his eyes flashed suddenly. In a purple light, Lin Moyu's soul reappeared intact. Even the soul world fully appeared and recovered as before. The crystal barrier that was previously assimilated by Buddha's light also returned to normal at this time. How could it be? Kongwen Buddha was shocked and lost his face for a moment. He clearly saw Lin Moyu's soul explode just now, but in the blink of an eye, Lin Moyu came back to life. Not only came back to life, but also lived very well, and even the soul world was restored to its original state. He has lived for countless years, and he has never seen a person whose soul blew up and recovered. This son has a big secret. Kongwen Buddha's heart tightened suddenly, and his gaze changed. Now he doesn't want to convert Lin Moyu, but wants to obtain the secrets of Lin Moyu. The secret that can restore the soul is an irresistible temptation for anyone. Even the Buddha of the Buddhist clan, who has already reached the realm of deity, who claims to have no desires, and the four elements are all empty, is the same. It's not that they don't really want nothing, it's just that they haven't encountered anything that can really move their hearts. Now he touched, he longed, greed appeared in his eyes. Lin Moyu caught this look, and naturally knew what Kongwen Buddha wanted. Hypocrisy. Amidst the sneer, Lin Moyu became more vigilant. The more hypocritical a person is, the more dangerous he is. Comprehensive freshman talent, every 50 seconds. As long as he delays for 50 seconds, he can explode himself again. Judging from the situation just now, there is no problem with 50 seconds. Amitabha. Kongwen Buddha proclaimed the Buddha's name, Benefactor Lin, if you agree to take refuge in O2 my Buddha, I can accept you as a disciple. Lin Moyu snorted, with cold eyes, you don't deserve it. Lin Moyu belongs to the category of not eating soft and hard, not eating oil and salt. Kongwen Buddha's expression also turned cold. Even if that's the case, don't blame me for being cruel and merciless. He took out a string of prayer beads and threw it towards Lin Moyu's soul world. The beads exploded halfway, and there were 108 beads, like 108 meteors hitting the crystal wall. The soul world was rumbling and shaking. A large number of cracks suddenly appeared in the crystal wall, spreading like a spider web. Da Buddha also made a move at this moment, and slapped it with one palm, and the huge Buddha palm slapped on the crystal wall. The soul world shook violently again, and it was filled with cracks in an instant. Lin Moyu's face changed slightly. He didn't expect Kongwen Buddha to be so decisive. Forcibly crossing him failed. He directly wanted to kill him. Didn't he want to get his own secret? Lin Moyu thought of a possibility, maybe even if he died, he could get the secret from it. Just like Antares used to search for souls, and his own dead were resurrected, perhaps the Buddhas also have corresponding means. The giant talent tree shook wildly, branches flew out, and rushed towards the 108 Buddhist beads. The Buddha beads are too strong, they should be weapons that specialize in the soul, and the branches of the giant talent tree can't stop them at all. The projection of the great Sun Buddha was patted one palm after another, and the giant tree of talent was also powerless to stop it. The 9-colored dragon's soul crystal flew out, and was slapped back by the projection of Da Buddha, becoming depressed. The soul world is crumbling. In the face of desperation, Lin Moyu remained calm, thinking about how to deal with it. Is it feasible to detonate magic stars? The only way out now is to give it a try. Lin Moyu was very decisive and directly chose the skeleton-type 4-star spell. 4 magic stars flew out and flew towards Kongwen Buddha. It's useless. Kongwen heard that a jade plate appeared in the Buddha's hand again. The jade plate flew out and quickly became larger, and knocked back the magic star with a bang. Lin Moyu was not given a chance to get close at all. Lin Moyu felt chills in his heart. Is there nothing he can do? The soul world is constantly under attack. No matter how much the talent giant tree resists, it will be of no avail. He is the 9th level super god, and the other party is a god. Although they are all 4th rank souls, the gap is not too big. The crystal wall is full of cracks, and the soul world is about to collapse. There are still 20 seconds left before the talent cooldown ends. In the last 20 seconds, Lin Moyu didn't think he could survive. Kongwen heard that the Buddha's eyes were cruel, and he didn't have the appearance of being indifferent to the world as claimed by the Buddha. Lin Moyu's eyes were also full of hatred. He saw the hypocrisy of the Buddha clan, and vowed in the soul world, if I, Lin Moyu, can survive, I will strangle the Buddha clan in this life. Kongwen Buddha sneered in his heart and said, you have no chance. Suddenly, a strong breath came from the deepest part of the soul. The breath is like a stormy sea, passing through the soul world in an instant. All the beads exploded and turned into powder. The same goes for the jade plate, which was blown to pieces on the spot. The phantom of Great Sun Buddha was directly washed away by this breath and disappeared. Kongwen Buddha's face changed greatly. Who is it? Lin Moyu saw a pair of eyes appeared in the empty space in the deepest part of the soul. This pair of eyes and language are very familiar. He had seen this pair of eyes many times when he was awakening skills and performing demonstrations. System. Lin Moyu showed surprise. Unexpectedly, at the most critical moment, the system appeared. Kongwen Buddha had fear in his eyes at this time, and he knew the soul world better than Lin Moyu. The void beyond the soul world is the truly infinite void. No one has ever been able to reach the deepest part of this void, and all those who went to explore were lost in the void and never returned. Among them are god kings, gods, and even stronger ones. The soul is lost, only an empty shell remains. In the big world, the mysterious void of the soul has become the first forbidden area, a forbidden area that is difficult for anyone to touch. But now, he actually saw a pair of eyes in the void of the soul. This made Kongwen Buddha's dead soul panic, and his first instinct was to escape. But when those eyes looked over, the spatial Buddha seemed to have been hit by a freeze spell, unable to move anymore. Then, the red light in the pair of eyes flashed past, and Kongwen Buddha's soul exploded with a bang, turning into the power of the sky full of souls. The power of the soul fell on the crystal wall like raindrops, and the cracks in the crystal wall were repaired in an instant. The remaining soul power was absorbed by the talent giant tree, tempered, and then tempered by the 9-colored dragon soul crystal for a second time, and passed to Lin Moyu's soul. The quality of the soul began to improve rapidly. The Space Buddha is in the realm of gods, and its 313 souls are also at the 4th rank, and have reached the 4th rank intermediate level. Much better than Lin Moyu. His soul power, to Lin Moyu, is like a big tonic. Lin Moyu's soul quality has improved a lot immediately, and he has completely stabilized at the 4th rank. The crystal wall shimmered and became more crystal clear and stronger. After the system glanced just now, it disappeared again. The void of the soul is boundless. Lin Moyu doesn't know where the system has gone. But Lin Moyu knows that the system is still there, that's enough. At the same time that the Space Buddha's soul was destroyed, in the real world, the Space Buddha who was preaching on the Buddha in the starry sky suddenly interrupted his voice, his head drooped, and his breath of life disappeared instantly. Lin Tang's complexion changed, and he came to Kongwen Buddha's side, and his complexion changed drastically under inspection. The soul is gone. Once the soul dies, only the body remains. Even in the realm of God Venerable, it is impossible to come back to life. The dragon chant sounded, and the golden dragon with its eyes closed all the time rushed down. What happened? Lin Tang said, I don't know. Kongwen Buddha's soul suddenly disappeared. After Shenlong checked, he found that it was indeed the case. There is no sign of any battle around, and most people are still obsessed with the Buddha's voice, and they have not awakened at all. What the hell happened? Lin Tang was extremely puzzled in his heart. All right, why did the Buddha of space suddenly die?